Hey, everybody. Oh, it's been a bit of a while, ain't it? Yes, it has. So if you're new here, or if you're not and you've forgotten who I am, I'm John, small town, small time bookseller. And I make a relatively modest attempt at selling books on ye olden eBays. And when that happens, I'll come around and tell you what I sold. And that's about all I do. I don't do garage sale videos or yard sale videos. I don't do GoPros at the Goodwill bins, looking at my hands, which shared something of the nature of that silence with which it accompanied you into unexplored depths, heard continuously by your side, penetrating, far-reaching, tinged with wonder and mystery on the lips of whispering men. None of that. None of that at all. All we're going to do here is talk about the books that I sold with a little bit of a twist today, because this is my first video back since I got back from my vacation this summer. So if you're not interested in seeing any vacation pics, I don't blame you a bit, but I'm going to show them anyways. Oh, much to the chagrin of the majority of you, I'm sure. But feel free to just skip till you stop seeing pictures of me. So spent 3 weeks this summer with my wife and daughter in Vietnam, and then about another week, actually about 8 days in Japan. So I'm not sure how I figure what I'll do is I'm just gonna talk about it for a minute, and I'm gonna start splicing pictures over me right now. So just kind of some things that we saw. If you've been to Vietnam, you know what it's like. It's a wonderful, wonderful country. Absolutely amazing food, amazing people. It's beautiful. It is cheap as everything. You just walk around all day long, just eating everything in sight and drinking the most incredible drinks and the most amazing fruit. And it's just wonderful. And I just love to be in Vietnam. We spent most of our time in the northern part of Vietnam. We started off in Saigon, visited my wife's family north of Saigon. We went to Da Lat, we went to Da Nang, we went to Haiphong, Ninh Binh, Ha Long Bay, Hanoi, and then we just kind of hung around a lot of different places, did a lot of different things. Try not to make it too stressful, so we had plenty of time to just relax as well. Request of my daughter, which I hopefully did. And then we spent some time in Japan, 3 days in Tokyo. Took the bullet train out to Kyoto, and then back to Tokyo. And my wife has a friend, she knew from Vietnam, that lives outside of Tokyo. And so we stayed with her for a couple days before heading back to Vietnam, last few days in Saigon before flying back home to Houston and then back home to here. So we actually ended up circumnavigating the globe, which is kind of cool, because going there, we went Houston to Manchester, England to Singapore, Singapore to Vietnam. On the way home, we went Vietnam to Singapore, Singapore to Los Angeles, and Los Angeles back to Houston and then home. So we went around the whole thing, so it's kind of cool. So anyhow, I just wanted to share that. I hope you don't mind indulging me in that. And if you ever get a chance to go to Vietnam or Japan, I didn't tell you, Japan is absolutely beautiful. It's wonderful. My daughter didn't want to come home. She's like, you guys go on ahead, I'm just going to stay here. Just a fantastically wonderful country, and absolutely loved it as well. The sights and everything in Tokyo is amazing. Kyoto was wonderful. We saw Mount Fuji, and it was just incredible. So back now. So the whole time I was on vacation, I had my store on a hold. So first what I did, I knew I was going to be gone about 30 days. So I put it on, up to 15 days, you can put it on hold, or people can still buy things. But if it's more than 15 days, you can't. So I had to put it on permanent, I forget the term, but where no one they could still see the items, but they couldn't purchase them. And it had a thing saying the seller will be away until whatever date it was. And then somebody had the comment, I wish I could say who it was because I don't remember, but somebody suggested when you're 15 days away from coming back, switch it off that and back onto the other one where they can still purchase things. So I actually did that. About 2 weeks before we were coming back home, I switched I turned off that permanent hold and put up the one that said that buyers could buy things, but they wouldn't be shipped out until a certain date. So I did manage to sell a few things. So this video is going to cover everything that I sold in the month of June. And so my vacation, we left June 9th and came back July 9th or 10th. I can't remember exactly when. So that's how long we were gone. And then, you know, sales were obviously slow during that time. So I have, I think, 17 sales during that month, of the month of June. And then since then, things they've picked up a little bit, been kind of slow. But, you know, it's been going okay since then. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, and hope you enjoy this, and we'll see, well, I don't know, we'll see something. But anyways, you ready? All right, so I always do like to go from the smallest dollar amount sale to the largest dollar amount sale and build the suspense a little. And so we're going to do that again today. So the first book that sold, Sigma Chi Foundation, 2017 to 2019. That sold for $9 from 2017 to 2019. And then the next one that sold is actually DVD. This is the French Connection DVD, which sold for $10. And I think that was one from my buddy Lax, who gave me a bunch of DVDs to sell. So thank you once again. Lax, the great Portuguese DVD haul of 2022, 2021. How long ago has that been now? You've been gone too long, man. Then next one was this notebook. So it's a sealed notebook. I think it was sealed, but it was a Lectern 1917, not from 1917. I think that's a model number or something. A ruled notebook sold for $10. And then we had the Ultimate Mediterranean Diet, which sold for $12. So Mediterranean Diet, diet books in general, or I should say cookbooks that follow a specific diet, sell pretty well. Then we had the Complete Guide to Climbing and Mountaineering, which sold for $12.50. Let's see, moving on from there, the Porsche, the new 911. Because if you buy a new 911, you're going to want a book all about it. So they bought mine, $12.50 for a little book about the Porsche 911. The next one we had was the History of the Kingdom of Naples, from 1250 to 1489, because we all know what happened in 1490, don't we? Good times, right? Am I right? Am I right? Oh, man. You remember Naples in 1490? Oh, man. So this obviously just went up to 1489, and it sold for $15. If it had included 1490, it'd be worth a lot more. Then I had this DVD, which I'd had for a long time. When I saw this, I thought, this is something that will sell within minutes of me listing it. And I was quite wrong. I was quite wrong, but, well, it was minutes, but rather than tens or 20s of minutes, it was millions possibly, because I had it up for a year or so, or more than that probably. It's the Significance of J.R.R. Tolkien CD, and we all know the significance of J.R.R. Tolkien. There's like a lecture series about the significance of J.R.R. Tolkien. I just thought anyone who's a Tolkien fan would love to have that in their collection. I was wrong, but somebody did. Somebody eventually did buy it for $15. And then the next book is Rodok's Hematology, which, you know, speaking of Tolkien, I believe Rodok's Hematology is the name of Thorin's sword in the Two Towers or something like that, right? Am I right? Then that sold for $15, Rodok's Hematology. The Book of Prayers, Santa Muerte, Novena Prayers and Pacts. So the Book of Prayers, Santa Muerte, that's like the death saint, the saint of death. And I didn't know what a novena prayer was, and I thought novena may have been a word in Spanish. I didn't know, so I looked it up. And a novena is just a type of prayer that is designed to be repeated over a 9-day period. Something I learned. You learned something today. I learned something today. Anyways, that book sold for $20. And then we had The Hair Cutter's Handbook. Coincidentally enough, that was a working title of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. Before he changed it to The Hobbit, it was The Hair Cutter's Handbook. Little known fact. The Hair Cutter's Handbook sold for $25. And then we went on to The Principles of Unit Operations. Sold for $25 as well. Vintage chess books do really well. I've sold a few with this. I believe this is a chess player's name. It's called The Unknown Alekhine. I'm guessing on that pronunciation there. From 1905 to 1915, because we all know what happened in 1916. Would not want to read about that. And but this is The Unknown Alekhine, 1905 to 1915. And I've sold a few books on this Alekhine. I think must be a chess master from back when. And it's over $25. So keep your eye out for vintage chess books, specifically that they are about games that certain players played. So I believe that's what a lot of this is. It talks about actual matches that he was in. Then, if you are a bookseller and you don't pick up a book with this title, you can just pick yourself up right now and leave. We'll wait. This was Radiation Accidents and Emergencies in Medicine, Research, and Industry. I mean, that's just got a reseller written all over it, am I right? What a wonderful name. I thought it would be worth millions. Again, I was wrong. Actually, this is interesting because when I listed it, I couldn't find any comps on it. So often in that case, I will list it high and keep researching. And so I did find a comp somewhere. Maybe it's Abe Books, which we all know is kind of high sometimes, but for over $100. And so I listed it for $100. And eventually, a few months in, sat for a while. I figured it would. But then somebody actually messaged me and said, there's two copies of this book on, it might have been Abe Books by that time, for $25. He said, but my copy looked like it had a better dust jacket, so he was offering me $30. So I've gotten those kind of things before where it'll say, you can buy it for $2 on the website, and you go to the website and you can't. So I verified it, and I went and looked, and lo and behold, he was right. There were two of them on there for $25. So I realized that I had mine. It was obviously way overpriced. And so I accepted the offer of $30. But the interesting thing is, when I shipped it off, it went to a civil service museum in Ford, a military base. Which one was that? Can't remember now, darn it. Should have looked that up before. But it went to a museum on a military base, which I thought was kind of cool. I looked it up online, and the guy who bought it, had him as the director of this museum. And there's a lot of stuff on early nuclear weapons and radiation experiments and radiation, things like that in this museum. So that was kind of cool. So that's the second book that I've ever sold that went to a museum. So I think that's kind of neat. All right, the next one is the Stained Glass Alphabet Pattern Book. This thing sold for $35. I was surprised about this one. It looked just kind of like a cool little crafting book, but stained glass pattern books, look out for those. Make sure they're complete, because it looked like this one easily, when I flipped through it, and somebody could have, I need a letter Q for some project I'm doing. They'll take out the Q, or you'll use the Q, and then the rest of the book is, they don't need it. So make sure that everything's in there. This one was complete, and it sold for $35. Then we have the TI-59 and HP-41CV Instrument Engineering Program. I don't know what those are. Calculators, maybe? Like Texas Instruments and Hewlett-Packard? Some kind of computer thing. Anyhow, this sold for $36, so I was pleased with that. And then I had the big sale of the month. Was a big sale. This was awesome. This was Bucks 2023 ICD-10CM for hospitals. $110. Woohoo! Yay! Ooh. All right, so that was a big one for the month. So I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, so thank you for that. Welcome to the channel. I really do appreciate it. I'm pushing 1,900 subs right now, so I got to think of something to do for 2,000. That would be fun. And so we'll see what we do on that. If you have any ideas, let me know. And anyways, that's it. So that was 17 sales, 15 books, 2 not books. And of my 15 books sold for $397. And my average sale price was $26.47, which is more than my completely made up and arbitrary figure of $25 that I consider a good sales period. And my Nada books also continued the streak. I had 2 Nada books that sold for $25. And if you can see right here, I put out my plan was going to be $12.50. That's exactly what I got. Nailed it once again. I'm very pleased about that. And so, you know, not a great month to have only sold, you know, that much. But hey, not bad for a month in which I was gone for most of it, really. So I was happy enough. And then things have been selling since then. So we'll talk about, we'll start getting these videos out again regularly, I do hope. My son, this is his room when he was back from college. He has gone back to college. So I have the book room back for now, which makes it a little easier to make these videos. And so hope you all are doing well. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it. And thanks for the subs and for watching and liking and subscribing and all that kind of business. I do really appreciate it. And hope you're selling the heck out of stuff. And we'll catch you next time. Adios. Hope to see you sooner rather than later. Adios.